Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopal Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopal Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopal Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopal Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radhe 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 Radhe, Radhe Govinda. 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 Radhe Govinda Jaya, Radhe Gopala. Radhe Govinda Jaya, Radhe Gopala. Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath Rath yatra, Subhadramani Jaya Sudarsana. Jaya Jagannath Rath yatra, Subhadramani लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय मंतरे लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय मंतरे लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय मंतरे लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय मंतरे जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद जगत गुरु शील प्रभुपाद की जय, भगवान गुरु महाराज की जय, नवकोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय, जय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। माता जी who is not cooking well?
Checkup.
Health is okay now. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Share in the group. So that I can share in some other group. तो मेरे को लिंक शेयर कीजिए, मैं share in some other group.
So we'll offer prayers to Guru Krishna and Vaishnavas and then we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Ajnanatirandhasya.
Om Ajnanatirandhasya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Chakshurunmilitam yena.
Chakshurunmilitam yena.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय तले श्रीमते जयप्रताप स्वामी नामे नमः आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायने गौरव रामदास प्रदान. So please repeat after me. नीलाचले निवासाय
नीलाचले निवासाय
नित्याय परमात्मने
नित्याय परमात्मने
बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई दर्शन की जय. Very good. Okay. Anything? Any confusion?
No.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I know we just came out from a seva and not many of us will be here. But still, tomorrow is a big day for all of us, the Rath Yatra day. So I thought we'll just talk about it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I thought we'll talk about Rath Yatra. How many of all of us here know the pastime of Rath Yatra, right? When did it first happen?
When topic would be today's topic would be
Yeah, Rath Yatra.
Jagannath Rath yatra. What do you
Actually, I haven't thought about it.
Mood.
Yeah, mood of Rath Yatra is also fine. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Rath Yatra. How did it start? First Rath Yatra. Everybody knows. Yeah, correct. So one very common understanding that's given in the Shastras is Krishna was separated from Rajavasis and all the gopis for 100 years. He was in Dwaraka. There was a Surya Grahan, and on that Grahan, to offer oblations to the forefathers and all that, Krishna, along with all his army, he comes to Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is a very Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra Desana. It's a very holy land. So Krishna came with all the ministers and everybody, and Rajavasis and Radharani gopis, they got to know that Krishna is coming to Kurukshetra. It's almost halfway. It's very close. So this is the closest we can get. So whoever came along, they all went, and they went to Kurukshetra to meet the Lord. Then Radharani gopis, they saw Krishna sitting on the chariot, but they didn't see the Krishna they wanted to see. Instead, they saw Dwarakadish in Aishwarya, very opulent, very glorious and all that, right? And Radharani said, I don't want Krishna like this. I want a simple cowherd boy, peacock feather, flute, dancing around with gopas, gopis. I want that form. So then she went and stood in front of the Lord. And as soon as Lord saw Srimati Radharani, after such a long time, his body started transforming. His hands went in, eyes became bigger, shoulders became narrower, everything, his whole body externally started changing because of ecstasy. And he was sitting already on a rath, and Baladev and Subhadra, they were also next to him. They also, upon seeing Rajavasis and their love for Krishna, their body transformed fully. And then Radharani, she took out, the rath was tied to a horse. She took out those ropes, she held it herself, and she started making an effort to pull. And seeing her, all the gopis came, they started pulling Jagannath. And they all started thinking, Radharani thought, I want to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. So they were pulling the Lord back. And here the mood was, one of the mood that Srimati Radharani had was that she felt that everybody in Vrindavan loves Krishna equally. Krishna is their life and soul. Some of us have got the fortune of having darshan of Krishna right now. But there are so many people in Vrindavan who haven't got that fortune yet. And some, even if they want, they can't get. Like the trees, the leaves, the plants, everything, all of these non-living. In Vrindavan there is nothing non-living. But all of these things are missing Krishna. They can never experience Krishna. So I want to take Krishna back to Vrindavan so that all of them can see Krishna as well. That was the mood in which Srimati Radharani pulled. And that is the mood in which all of us should pull Rath Yatra as well. Jagannath Rath. In the intent that some of us, by the mercy of Vaishnavas, we got the understanding that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this is Lord Jagannath, and we are having a relationship with Him. We are rendering service to Him. But there are so many people outside in the world who don't know about Jagannath's glories. They don't know He's the Lord, or they are too busy to come have darshan of Him. So then we should pull the Rath in the intent that we are bringing Him on the streets and pulling Him so that the whole world, others, conditioned souls, can have His darshan and get benefited, get uplifted. Right? Tomorrow when we pull Rath Yatra, you will see, or any Rath Yatra randomly, you will see this, that there will be various shops. Some of them will be butcher shops, slaughterhouses, and all sorts of abominable people smoking, drinking, all of them, they'll all come, they'll hold the Rath Yatra, they'll try to pull, they'll offer obeisances, so much mercy, they'll chant the holy name, they'll honor Prashadam, unlimited mercy happens. Jagannath is the only deity where the Utsav Murti doesn't come out for the Rath Yatra. The main deity itself comes out. That's how magnanimous he is. Generally, if we are thirsty, we should go to the water source. But here it's ulta. The water source is thinking, okay, I know you're thirsty, you're not coming, I'll come to you. Right? And if we are sick, we go to the doctor. But if we are so sick that we can't go, then the doctor pays a home visit. So Jagannath is paying that home visit to us, because materially we might be okay, but from a spiritual consciousness standpoint, we are very deceased. So Jagannath is coming out to give us darshan. Right? So that's one mode of Rath Yatra. There's another story pastime as well. Anybody knows? We discussed it before. Okay. Okay, this is from Dwaraka. Krishna goes with Baldev and Subhadra to Vrindavan, and Radharani is about to give up her body, and all of them, they see Radharani and they pick her up, and Radharani, when she hears Krishna has come, she becomes alive again. This was in Nidhivan. She gets back life again. Then Radha and Krishna are made to sit on a throne, and they are given arti by all the Ashtasakis and the gopis and everything. So this whole pastime happens. It's a long pastime which we've discussed, and if time permits in the end again I can share that. But yeah, they were doing that kirtan, and Radharani becomes very happy, and Krishna says, I'm very sorry, I've given you a lot of pain, I've caused a lot of pain to you, and you please tell me what can I do for you. Srimati Radharani says, when Radharani was coming up, getting back up, she sees Krishna still on the chariot, and he had transformed himself into Jagannath form. Then Radharani brings him down, and then they put them on the asana and give the arti. So Radharani says that Jagannath form that I saw on the Rath, everybody in Kali Yuga and all conditioned souls should have darshan of that form as well, right? So that they see how much you miss all of us, how much is your love for all the Rajavasis. Because Jagannath is the personification of Krishna's love for Rajavasis and his separation from Rajavasis. So then Krishna says, yes, granted, I will do that. I'll ensure that everybody, understand your love. And then he says, not just that, I will come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show what is your love for me. Because as Jagannath, the whole world will see my love for you, but the whole world won't understand your love for me. So I'll accept your Mahabhav, your mood, your love, and I'll come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show the whole world. And then he says, I'll give a third benediction. She asked only one, he's giving three. Third benediction is, that same love that you have for me, I will imbibe that, I'll infuse that into a Mahamantra, and I'll distribute that Mahamantra freely to the whole world, which was the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed through the Sankirtan Yajna, right? So these are multiple versions in different kalpas, different pastimes happen for the Rath yatra to go about, right? So lot of events happen during the Rath yatra. Firstly, the Snana Purnima, the deities are brought out, they are bathed, because first time when Jagannath appeared, Indradyumna Maharaj, he offered Abhishekam to the deities. So in that memory, they bring out the deities, they offer, they bring water from Mahodadi, from the ocean, and they bathe Jagannath. And then after a whole day of bathing, he catches cold and fever. Then they put him inside, and for 14 days, nobody is given darshan, the curtains are closed, and treatment is going on by the Shavara dynasty. They bring all the herbs and everything, and they heal Jagannath. On the 15th day, the Lord comes out again, and this is for the Rath yatra, because Lord is thinking, now I'll go to Gundicha temple. One of three benedictions Indradyumna Maharaj asked. Anybody knows what are the three benedictions he asked from Jagannath? Didn't we discuss the whole Jagannath pastime? All of us are aware, right? How Lord appeared. Okay, just this, if you've forgotten, that's okay. So yeah, Indradyumna Maharaj told Jagannath, when Jagannath was very pleased with him, he said, I want three benedictions. Number one, every time you have honor prasadam and you wash your hands and come, before it get rice again, you should honor again. So we'll keep giving you bhoga, you should keep honoring, and the intent behind this benediction, asking this benediction was that Mahaprasad will be distributed to everybody, and everybody will get transformed, purified, and become devotees. So constantly that prasadam should keep coming. The second thing he told was, actually the first thing he had told was, he doesn't want a son. Daughters are fine, as many daughters are possible, that's fine, but no son. This is surprising, because all the kings, they do so many tapasyas to get a son. Dasharath Maharaj did so many tapasyas to get a son, right? So he said no son, only daughter. Because if there's a son, in the future they may claim rights to the temple. They might say, my property, my deity, I will sell it, I will do whatever, I'll build a mall here instead of temple, whatever. So he said no son, only daughter, so that this doesn't remain a family property, it's your temple. Then third thing he says is, you should not sleep throughout the day. So Jagannath doesn't have eyelids, he doesn't sleep. 21 hours in a day he gives darshan to all of us. 3 hours his darshan is closed, but on those 3 hours devatas come and they have darshan of the Lord, they have meeting of how to run the universe. He is Lord of the universe, he has so many meetings to talk. So he talks to them, and then so when the Lord is put to sleep, Jagannath is put to sleep, not just his offering, but all the offering to Devi Devatas are also kept. right? And they're all that arrangement is made, and when they remove it, some of those offerings they're actually half eaten, and all of those fastings happen, miraculous fastings. And there's whole pastime of Vibhishan's bracelet. Anybody knows this pastime? We shared it before. Okay. Anyway, his bracelet is still there in Jagannath Puri in a panda's house that's become a museum right now. And his bracelet is so big that it becomes like a huge wheel of a cart, huge cart. That's how big his bracelet is. And that was found when Vibhishan had come to take darshan of Jagannath. And that Pujari said, okay, I've met you, but if I tell others, nobody will believe. And I can't take a selfie of you. This was just 100, 200 years back. So he said, I want some evidence, some proof that you have come so that I can tell others. So he said, okay, you take my bracelet. And he gave that bracelet, which is still there in Jagannath Puri today. Right? So many wonderful pastimes happen. So then after the Snana Purnima, 15 days of Anavasara period, then Jagannath comes out, then Pahandi Seva happens when the Lord is brought out. Step by step he comes out. Pahundi means step. So slowly he is brought out, then Baladev, Subhadra, they all come out, then they are put on the Rath, then the Rath is taken to Gundicha temple. So Jagannath Puri, the Sri Mandir is Dwarka, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said it is actually Kurukshetra. So for Gaudiya Vaishnavas it is Kurukshetra to Vrindavan, but others also see it as Dwarka to Vrindavan, nothing wrong in that. So he sits on the chariot. Until 18th century, there were 6 rathas that were made from Jagannath Puri to Gundicha. Anybody knows why?
There's a river in between the cities.
There was a river. So 3 chariots will go there. Then they're put on a boat. Then again another 3 chariots will pick up and they'll go to Gundicha. But now slowly the river dried off and there's one continuous path. So only 3 chariots are made. So then the deities are taken to Gundicha temple. There they stayed for a while. And again, why I told about the 3 benedictions was, one of the benedictions Indradumna Maharaj asked was, I don't want any son. And Mother Gundicha, Indradumna Maharaj's wife, was standing there and she was like, oh my God, no children, no son, what is this? And Jagannath promised, every year I will come to your place as a son and you can serve me. I'll give you an opportunity to serve me. Then she became satisfied. So to keep that promise as well, Jagannath goes and he takes service from Gundicha Mata in a Vatsalya Bhav. So he goes there, takes service, he's in Vrindavan, rejoicing, enjoying. On the 5th day, Mother Lakshmi comes to know it's called Beda Panchami, Hira Panchami. Hira Panchami. Then Mother Lakshmi is thinking, where is my husband? He didn't come. He went from Sri Mandir is Lakshmi Devi's house. So she's thinking, my husband is not here, where did he go? Without telling, he went. So then she goes finding. Then the whole procession with all Lakshmi Devi's servants and everybody, they go to Gundicha. And there Lakshmi Devi is made face to face with Jagannath. Then Jagannath's garland prasadam is offered to Lakshmi Devi and all of that pacified. Then Lakshmi Devi comes back. Then after Ulta Rath happens, then again Lakshmi Devi is very angry that you didn't come, you were so far, so long you went away, you didn't stay with me and all that. Then again a debate happens, confrontation and all of that. Finally they reconcile and Jagannath is allowed entry inside. So all of these, lot of pastimes happen throughout the Rath Yatra. But I thought today we'll talk about the mood of what should be our mood. Not just during Rath Yatra, but generally our mood towards Krishna consciousness or our mood towards spiritual life in the theme of Rath Yatra. Because I think by Krishna's mercy we have a very nice community, very well knit, very motivated, inspired community. And the proof was like today's service, right? So many devotees came, many of you called, you inspired other devotees to come and all of them came and we were there on time. And the service was supposed to happen from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. We ended up doing it by 1 p.m. itself. And we didn't even compromise on the service. All the devotees were so putting their heart, they were scrubbing every last inch. Water was very dark, everybody scrubbed very nicely. Yeah. Yeah, even kids, elders, everybody came together as one unit. No ego clashes, no fight, nothing, no other conversation. We were all absorbed in the seva. Very efficiently we did it in the right mood, right spirit by Krishna's mercy. And after that seva was done, we honored prasadam, and now again we are here for the class. We are hearing Harikatha again. It shows that we are not saturated. We are not, because if morning was again a program where we just went, sat, heard Katha, had prasadam, came back, and again we are here, that's still okay. We are just giving time, investing time. But we did like seva, like we cleaned fans, roofs, and we did some heavy lifting. And again all of you are here. That shows that we have the right mood towards service towards Krishna consciousness. And we have the Janmashtami festival coming up as well. So I thought today we can reflect on, through the Rath Yatra pastime, how our acharyas, our spiritual master Krishna, how does he want us to approach Krishna consciousness and spiritual life. So we'll talk about that. Okay. So anybody knows what was the first deity that came to ISKCON? Jagannath deities. When was this?
Next gift shop. Yes.
Correct. Okay. So this was Jagannath deity had come, and so now we'll just talk about that pastime, how the first deity came and what happened and all of that, and then we'll tie it back to what our mood should be as well. Okay. And I don't know how much time do we have? Half an hour more?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's raining also. Okay. So, we know Srila Prabhupada, his life, he got an instruction from a spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The first time he met his guru, he just offered obeisances before he could come up again, and he didn't even know who this was. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur instructed him, you seem like an educated man, knowledgeable man, go to the West and preach in English. And then later he said, if you ever get money, print books. So these 1 or 2 instructions he gave. And for 44 years, Prabhupada carried that instruction in his heart. Tried so many things. And externally it appeared like he failed in all those endeavors. His family was sort of torn apart, broken apart. He took sannyas, came to Vrindavan. His businesses failed, multiple business attempts. He was a pharmacist. He tried multiple things, all of it failed. He moved places also, Allahabad, here, there, everywhere, nothing worked. Right, and he started a movement called the League of Devotees in Jhansi in 1955. And there he started that movement with one disciple. Eventually that also didn't work. That preaching didn't happen in Jhansi and that movement died off. And he didn't have anything, no money, no resources, nothing. But he had the strong mood that I should serve, fulfill the instructions of my spiritual master. But he knew the time was passing by. He was in his 70s now and he knew he didn't have a lot of time. Finally, on 13th August 1965, he boarded Jaladuta and he went from Kolkata to New York was the destination. This Jaladuta was a cargo ship. A lot of effort, Sumati Morarji somehow convinced her and got tickets and all of that. On a cargo ship he went. And we know on the way he got 2 heart attacks. And he thought he won't even survive. But somehow Lord protected him. And then finally he came to Boston. So 13th August 1965 he started from Kolkata. On 17th September 1965 he reached Boston Pier, that port. It took 38 days overall. So he reached Boston, went around and then came back to the ship because he had to eventually go to New York. So after that he saw the first glimpse of US and he saw all the skyscrapers. He came back, he was very morose. He thought people are so sinful, how can I give them this message? Then he composed a prayer called Markine Bhagavat Dharma, asking the Lord that, praying to the Lord that somehow you have brought me here and you have given me the title Bhakti Vedanta. I don't have Bhakti, neither I am a Vedanta. I don't have knowledge, I don't have Bhakti. You have given me this title. It's up to you to fulfill that title. And I am just a puppet in your hands. However you want to make me dance, you make me dance. You want me to succeed, you make me succeed. You want me to fail, you make me fail. Whatever is your desire, you make me do that. Just use me as an instrument. So he composes that poem. Finally he reaches New York. Then he goes to Butler, Pennsylvania. He goes to the house of Sally Agarwal. There he has to share his prashadam, his vegetables in the same fridge where they were keeping meat. And one side meat was there, one side vegetables were there. And he wasn't even a first initiated devotee. Hare Krishna. He wasn't a first initiated devotee or second initiated devotee. He was a sannyas. And he has to share his prashadam with the meat there. He somehow tolerated that. Then he got to know here not much, and that Sally Agarwal was very fond of Prabhupada. But she also used to smoke in front of Prabhupada. Prabhupada tolerated. All the cultural differences he tolerated. Then he thought it won't work here. He went to New York. Then in New York, he was staying in Dr. Mishra's yoga studio. Dr. Mishra was like a friend of Prabhupada back when he was here. So Dr. Mishra was actually a Mayavad. So he would teach some yoga asanas and then he would talk about Mayavad. And out of respect, he would invite Prabhupada to come speak. The moment Prabhupada got the opportunity, he would say, no, Mayavad is all nonsense and this is Krishna consciousness. Lord has a form, we are his devotees. Immediately, Dr. Mishra would stop Prabhupada and say, yeah, that's enough. And again, he would talk about Mayavad. After a while, Prabhupada, what he started doing, when Dr. Mishra would sit in the front and give philosophy about Mayavad, Prabhupada would sit in the back, and 2-3 devotees who were around him, he would tell him, whatever this fellow is speaking is nonsense, it's bogus. Actually, Krishna has a form, Krishna is beautiful, Lord is very nice, we are supposed to serve him. He would say all that. But after a while, he got to know it won't work. Staying in Dr. Mishra's place might be comfortable, but he will never be able to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. Then he made a bold move. Generally, even in our late 20s, 30s, we think I'm too old to take risk now. Imagine a 70-year-old man with 2 heart attacks, no life health insurance, nothing. He took the risk of moving away from accommodation that he had to the Bowery, which was the slums of New York. And this wasn't any ordinary slums where people were just in Bowery, were just in poverty. This was the slums where people were fully drug addicts. And people would just smoke, have all those drugs, lie on the ground, roam around naked, and there a saffron sannyasi is walking in 1965, right? And he went there and he stayed. There's actually Prabhupada Leelamrita, this whole thing is given, we can relish that actually. But he stayed with his roommate, his name was David. It was a small room, very small room. There was a curtain in between. One side Prabhupada was sitting, another side David was sitting. For a few days it was okay, Prabhupada was just tolerating. One night, David opened the curtain and Prabhupada saw his eyes was very red and he had something in his hand. And Prabhupada got to know this fellow is going to harm me now. Prabhupada jumped from the bed and ran, and David chased him. All around the Bowery chased him to attack him and to kill him, in that influence of the drug. Prabhupada ran, stumbled over the bodies that were there. He fell down, he somehow escaped, he ran away. Then after that, Prabhupada's one typewriter sort of a thing he had, that got stolen. Bhagavatam, first canto, whatever manuscript he had, it got stolen. Then he got to know this place, I am not able to do much here. Even to go to the washroom, to use the washroom, in the morning, it used to be outside. And so many people used to form a line. And Prabhupada had to go stand behind. No etiquette that, sannyasi, he should come front, nothing. Just to stand there with the mug, wait for his turn. And, he would call everybody for prasadam. They would come, they would sit in katha and smoke cigarette and weed on his face only. So all of these things he tolerated. And it was then the winter started coming. It was very harsh winter. And by then, Prabhupada, like when we go to a cold place, we have inside one layer, 3-4 layers we do. Fleece and jacket and this and that and all that, thermals, so many things we do, right? He just had one saffron robe, that's all, nothing. And he slept on the park bench in New York, right? And he struggled for almost a year, struggled very hard. 13th August, he left from Kolkata to New York. On 13th July 1966, he formally he registered ISKCON as a movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. After a lot of struggle, lot of pain, lot of sacrifices, he got one small storefront called Matchless Gift in New York, and he named it as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. When he gave the name, his followers who were sitting there and him, both of them were smiling, they were laughing. Because they are in some corner, small storefront in some corner of the world, and they're calling themselves as international, right? So anyway, Prabhupada had very strong vision. Whoever he would meet, Prabhupada once met a conductor, and that conductor asked, Swamiji, what are you doing here? And Prabhupada said, I have thousands of disciples, I have made hundreds of temples, I have written hundreds of books, and all of that. And then that conductor said, looking at you, it doesn't look like you've done all of that. What is this? Prabhupada said, yeah, all of that are going to happen. It's just that time is separating them from you. They will surely happen. It's just a matter of time. So that much faith Prabhupada had on the words of his guru on Bhagavatam, right? When Prabhupada was later asked, Prabhupada, you went with 40 rupees and one Bhagavatam set to America. Prabhupada corrected and said, I didn't go to America with Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam went to America carrying me as a personal servant. Right? I was just a servant. Bhagavatam went to America. I was an instrument. So in that mood, Prabhupada kept serving. So 13 July 1966, ISKCON got registered, and there were a few devotees there. First Janmashtami of 1966 was on 8th September. Nobody knew what is Janmashtami, how to celebrate. Prabhupada called whoever were coming regularly, few times he called them. It was just less than 3-4 months. So Prabhupada called them and he said, today is Janmashtami, all of you are supposed to fast till midnight. Like, fast, oh my god, okay, we'll fast. They took association, they used to call him Swamiji. Nobody used to call him Prabhupada at that time. So they all sat with Prabhupada, whole day they heard about Krishna, they fasted. Midnight, Prabhupada said, now we'll have prasadam. And while having prasadam, Prabhupada told, tomorrow there will be an initiation ceremony and I am going to initiate all of you. They said, initiate? What is initiate? What is initiation? What does it happen? Prabhupada said, it means you will take a vow of lifelong commitment to your Guru. And they said, lifelong commitment? And who's this Guru? Prabhupada said, I am Guru. You will have to take initiation from me. Right? And they were not at all knowing all this. Imagine somebody who doesn't know anything about chanting, nothing about Krishna. In India, where there is cultural awareness of all these things, you ask somebody to chant one round, you say, no, I can't take commitment, not possible. But Prabhupada had given them so much of love and care and affection, they had no idea. And some old man, 70-year-old man is saying, you have to give lifelong commitment. They're like, fine, where should we come? What are we supposed to do? You tell, we'll do. That much love they had. And if you see in the context at those times, what context all of this was happening, it was the counterculture movement in America. The youngsters, they believed that the older generation betrayed them, and the real way is to be free, have drugs, music, art, do all these things and be free, not be bound by culture, society and all that. So they had a rule. Anybody who had white hair or beard or above 40 years old, don't trust them. And in that moment, one 70-year-old sannyasi from India, not even from America, and they're dedicating their life to the sannyasi. How much love and care Prabhupada would have given them. He would call all of them for prasad, he would keep the plates, he would cook, he would give them prasad, they would eat and go off. Then he would take those plates, he would wash, arrange it, then he would write his books. So for many months he did that for them. And then they realized this man is our well-wisher. So they didn't know Krishna, they didn't know anything. He said initiation, they agreed. What is special the next day of Janmashtami? Prabhupada's appearance day, Nandotsav and Prabhupada's appearance day, right? So it was Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja day. So on his appearance day, Prabhupada is giving initiation. So he called the devotees, and they are all coming with long beard and long hair, not clean shaved, long hairs, nails very long. They are coming in shirt and pant. Women are coming in whatever is natural to them. They came. And Prabhupada made a small Havan Kund sort of an arrangement. They sat there, like, what is the smoke they saw? And Prabhupada told them 4 regulative principles you have to follow. They heard that and they said, okay, fine, for him we'll follow. Then Prabhupada told, you should chant 64 rounds every single day. Then there they had some argument, negotiation, came down to 32. Then finally Prabhupada said, no less than 16 rounds. Prabhupada said, minimum 16 rounds. And that's the bare minimum. Even in our initiation, we see in the vows, it's written minimum 16 rounds. We treat that as the goal, benchmark. Before giving up my body, I should reach the level of 16 rounds and stay there. But that's the bare minimum. Prabhupada made a compromise, knowing our state, right? So then Prabhupada told all of this. They all agreed, right? So this happened on 9th September, the next day of Janmashtami. And he told them that you are all initiated devotees, you are supposed to be this way, right? There was this Howard, he called Howard, a man named Howard. He initiated him as Hayagriva Das. Then there was Mike, he named him as, what was that? Janaki Mataji and Madhavananda Prabhu, I think. So him and Jane was there, Janaki Mataji. So Janaki Devidasi, he initiated people like that. There was one Jake, I think he called him Jagannath Das. So basically he initiated devotees, whoever were there. And you can imagine from 13th July to 9th September, just 3-4 months, he made them fully serious and he's giving initiation to them. And he's telling, from today, any sins you commit, I will have to bear your sins, your karma, I am taking. All of those things he's telling. And they're believing also, they're doing everything. So very quickly he initiated them, he gave them responsibilities. Next day, Mike and Janaki, they were actually boyfriend-girlfriend, living together, not married. But now they are initiated. So they come to Prabhupada and Prabhupada told them, now you are initiated, you should live very sattvic life. So they asked, is there any room for love in Krishna consciousness? Do you accept love? What is it? So Prabhupada said, yes, there is a room for it, but it should be done through a proper ashram called Grahasthashram, for which you need to get married. So they agreed. And Prabhupada, generally sannyasis are not supposed to even attend weddings. But here, Prabhupada organized the wedding of his disciples. He made every small detail. He sat there, he brought them together, he decided what Mike will wear, what Janaki Devi Mataji, what she will wear. So all of that, which color sari, which color dress, everything he selected, he organized, he made everything. He arranged their wedding and they were married. And then Mike, I think Madhavanand Prabhu, do you know his name? Okay. Anyway, so, or I think I should know it. You don't want to get it wrong. Mukunda Prabhu actually. Yeah. Mike was Mukunda and Janaki Devi Dasi. Mukunda and Janaki Devi Dasi. So these were first Grahastha couple initiated by Srila Prabhupada. Then Mukunda Prabhu actually wanted to come to India, but then somehow after a few months, he moved to San Francisco. And him and Mataji, they were staying there. And Prabhupada was in New York, taking care of the center there. So after a few months, actually, Prabhupada receives a letter from Mukunda Prabhu that, I have come to San Francisco, I have settled down, and I am looking to buy a space, buy a small storefront, like how we have in Matchless Gift. I want to buy one more place here because I see a lot of potential for Krishna consciousness in San Francisco. And can you guess what is the claim for Mukunda Prabhu to say this? Why is Mukunda Prabhu saying there's a lot of potential for Krishna consciousness? What do you think? Youth population, correct. That's the actual reason. But Mukunda Prabhu, how he said was, there's a lot of youth. The youth movement is very strong in San Francisco. And there are more drug addicts in San Francisco than in New York. And if we can go to New York and make them devotees, here we have more pace, more potential of converting. So let's come here, there's strong potential. So that's how they were thinking at that time, right? So then Prabhupada became very happy seeing this letter. And he wrote back saying, I'm eagerly looking forward, you do something, I'll help you. So then a few weeks and months passed. And Prabhupada kept asking, after every evening he would ask devotees, did you hear from Mukunda? Is Mukunda ready? Did he do something? Finally, he gets another letter from Mukunda in the first week of January 1967. He gets a letter saying, we bought this, we rented a small storefront in Ashbury Street in San Francisco. San Francisco is actually the drug capital of the world. So then he said, we bought a small storefront here, youth revolution is very strong, and I'm making all preparations to make this into a temple. And he said, I am organizing a festival, Mantra Rock Dance Festival, where I'll call all the rock stars and dancers and all of them, we'll have a rock festival. There we will talk about you and we'll introduce you and we'll say this chief guest, special guest, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, all that, he mentioned all that. So Prabhupada read that, he became very happy and he told the devotees, make arrangements for me to go to San Francisco. And all the New York devotees were shocked. They never thought Prabhupada will leave New York and go anywhere. They thought ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, was Matchless Gift. Not even whole of New York. This is ISKCON, that's all. There's nothing beyond it. They didn't know how big Prabhupada's vision was at that time. And they thought, sannyasi, what will he do in a rock festival, event? All drug addicts and all will come there. What will he do there? And nobody will respect him. Nobody will take care of him. Here there's a center. We are there to respect, take care. What will he do there? And they thought Prabhupada won't go. And they told Prabhupada, don't go. Prabhupada said, no, I have to go, make arrangements. And then finally they booked the tickets. Then the day came and Prabhupada had to leave. There was one other servant who was traveling with Prabhupada, Ranchod Prabhu. So then the luggage and all of that was taken and Prabhupada was coming down. And these devotees were very, very sad, very morose, because they didn't start all of this because of love for Krishna or gopis or nothing. They came for Swamiji. And the Swamiji is going, leaving them and going. And they were thinking, they thought Prabhupada will come there, say bye-bye, tata, give a farewell address. Prabhupada walked down. He came out of the courtyard, sat in the car, went. That's all. And then they realized what is the detachment of a sannyasi, how strong that is. Right? I remember once one sannyasi came to Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj. He had come to Bangalore. And Rigesh Prabhu is very closely attached to that Maharaj. He is very dearly attached. First time that Maharaj came, he was served him very nicely, he stayed a few days. Then Prabhu dropped him in the airport, and that Maharaj was so well, nicely gelled with all the kids and family members and everything. And Prabhu already started calling him Guru Maharaj and all that, very dearly attached. Rasamrit Maharaj, when he reached the airport, he opened the door, went out of the car, started walking. Yogeshwar offered obeisances and he thought now he'll turn, he'll say bye, he'll say take care, something. Maharaj just walked. He walked into the airport. And Prabhu thought, I thought he's everything to me. 3-4 days he was with us as a family member, so much love, affection. Without turning back, he went back. Right? So this is actually the detachment of a sannyasi. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Detachment is a very important anga of bhakti, and sannyasis have that. Mahaprabhu also would do that. Wherever he would go, devotees would say, we'll come with you, we'll give our life to you. Mahaprabhu would say, no, you have to stay here. And then he wouldn't even turn back, he would just walk away. Right? So Prabhupada went. Okay. And then he sat in the car and he went. And finally he reached, in the second week, 16th January I think, he reached San Francisco. Right? And in the whole flight he was just chanting, absorbed in the mood of the Lord. Then he was telling his servant, and this was the first flight of Srila Prabhupada in his life. He had never taken this flight before. So he was fully chanting. Then he was seeing all the buildings from below and he was telling, these buildings look like small matchboxes, right? And then he was telling that servant, if for us this is looking like matchbox from this side, imagine for Krishna from Golok Vrindavan how this must be looking. So fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness even at that time. When Prabhupada came, he landed in San Francisco. He was coming out of the airport and he was thinking, okay, I'll just go, I'll see what arrangements Mukunda and Janaki have made. He was coming out, and then while he was just leaving the airport, he heard some music, some sound. Then as he walked further, he realized this is actually the Mahamantra, this is Kirtan. Prabhupada started smiling, he became happy. And finally when he went to the exit, he saw Mukunda and Janaki Mataji, they had organized 50 hippies to come and receive Prabhupada. And they were all wearing tilak and they all came. Prabhupada went there and he was so happy. He had a huge smile on his face, hearing Mahamantra, Kirtan and all that. And Allen Ginsberg was one famous personality at that time. He had also come to receive Prabhupada. So Prabhupada became very happy and they were standing in two lines. Prabhupada was walking in between them. They were all giving gifts, flowers, all of that to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was receiving all of that. He walked so happy hearing Kirtan and all. Then he took out those garlands, those flowers, he gave it as prasadam to everybody. Whatever devotees would give, he would take that and give it off as prasad. So he started doing that, right? And he gave it to everybody and they were all very happy. Prabhupada was very happy. Then they drove him to the small storefront that they had rented. And as soon as Prabhupada came in, they were saying, Prabhupada, your room is here. But then Prabhupada saw there was a sofa. Prabhupada went straight there, sat, he made it the Vyasasana, did Kirtan and gave Katha. And he addressed everybody who were sitting there. He told them, welcome to Krishna consciousness, please take it up seriously. All of that he told them. Then he went to his room, he rested. By 11 p.m. that night, in news channels everywhere it was mentioned, Swamiji has arrived in San Francisco. Newspaper articles and all were written and all of that, right? So Prabhupada stayed there for a while. And Prabhupada started guiding them, telling them what to do, how to practice Krishna consciousness, inspiring them. He would do Katha, Kirtan and all of that, and he would personally engage with them, right? And he would give Bhagavatam class. Not a lot would come, but one program was very famous in that center. It was the afternoon lunch. They would make lunch prasadam very nicely. Prabhupada had instructed them, whatever you do, make prasadam nicely. So they'd make lunch prasadam. About 150 hippies will come, have prasadam nicely every day. So that was a very famous program. And on top of that, Prabhupada used to give Katha, Kirtan and all of that used to happen. At this time, one day, Malti Mataji, she was the wife of Shyam Sundar Prabhu. She came back from the store and she bought a DT, bought a doll actually, small doll, and she asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this is very nice, what is this? Then Prabhupada offered obeisances and he said, this is Jagannath, this is the Lord of the universe. And he became so happy, he started crying, he was very smiling, he was very, very happy. And everybody's intent there was to see Swamiji happy. And seeing Prabhupada smile, they were becoming happy. Oh my God, we have done something very nice. And Prabhupada said, you have one like this, 2 more should be there. She said, yes, there were 2 more. I was attracted to this, I bought this. So she went back, bought 2 more, the white doll and the yellow doll. She bought those also, and Prabhupada organized it correctly in the right order, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra and Sudarshan. Then he asked the devotees, is there anybody who can sculpt deities here out of wood? So there, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he said, I was a wooden sculptor before as a profession. Prabhupada said, perfect, I want you to sculpt deities like this. And then he sat there and he told them the whole katha of Jagannath Mahaprabhu. How did he appear? Like Indradyumna Maharaj, his endeavor, he brought him here, Brahma bought 50 days of Brahma, Neela Madhav, another 50 days, then he installed, all of that he told everything. How Vishwakarma came and carved these deities, everything he mentioned. And he said, then he told Shyam Sundar Prabhu that you please start carving Jagannath deities. And he told all the devotees who were assembled there, from this moment onwards, for all the devotees, San Francisco will be called as New Jagannath Dham. And he named it as New Jagannath Dham. And that was the first name he gave. And then Shyam Sundar Prabhu started carving. Again, many difficulties came. One incident I remember is Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he was initiated and he was carving deities, but he was addicted to smoking. He tried to leave, but he was still smoking while one hand is carving, one hand is smoking. Prabhupada walked by and he thought Prabhupada is going to come shout at him. Are, I told you so much time I spent with you, still you are smoking, what is this? Shyam Sundar Prabhu was all defensive. He was thinking, when Prabhupada comes to me, I will shout back at him. What do you think? You have never smoked in your life. You don't know how difficult it is. So he was prepared to tell all of that. Prabhupada came to him, walked up to him, folded his hands, with tears in his eyes, Prabhupada said, this is Lord, this is Jagannath. You please don't smoke while carving his deities. Otherwise you smoke, it's okay, I can understand. Now you please don't do. Seeing that compassion of Prabhupada, his heart melted so much, Shyam Sundar Prabhu. From that moment, he never touched a cigarette in his life. He became completely transformed. So Prabhupada did not transform their Westerners with philosophy or with harshness or anything. He transformed them with love. That's a very important lesson for all preachers also. Nobody is interested in what we speak, what philosophy, what shloka. Very few souls will be there. Very pious souls, they'll come for such things. Everybody else comes for that warm relationship, non-exploitative mentality, strong community sort of a feeling. That's why we all come. Right? Somebody pulled us here. We get attracted more to the people than to the process, and eventually we realize the importance of the process over time. Okay? So then, I'll try to make it quick. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu carved the deities were all made. Then Mukunda Prabhu, Prabhupada told him how the altar should be. So there was a 7 feet altar. Below there was a painting of all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in the Rath yatra. On the top, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra were kept, Sudarshan were kept. Opposite, Prabhupada's Vyasasana was kept on the opposite side. So Prabhupada was very happy. It was the Gaura Purnima day, 26th March 1967. Prabhupada said, on this day we'll install the deities. Nobody knew what is installing means. That time they didn't even know what is installing a software. Now they are installing deities. So Prabhupada came down and Prabhupada said, till evening we will follow fast, Gaura Purnima. Then we'll break the fast with Jagannath installation and we'll have a grand feast. So many devotees had gathered there. Prabhupada came. And they didn't know what is installation. Prabhupada did kirtan, Prabhupada made them chant one round. Then Prabhupada gave a katha. And they said, now we'll install. No installation, no process, nothing. Nowadays, deity installation means it happens from a long time before. Yajna happens and so many sannyasis they come, Maharajs they come. It's a grand festival. First ISKCON deity was Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. And how Prabhupada installed it was, he told Mukunda, bring a plate with a few candles. He brought a plate with candles, not even diyas, candles he brought. He stood there. Then he looked at Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, now rotate them clockwise. Then he started rotating clockwise. Then he looked at Prabhupada, how long? He said, do it as long as your hand is hurting, then give it to the next devotee. As long as the kirtan happens, you guys keep standing there and just show Aarti. Right? They didn't even know this was Aarti. They did all that. Prabhupada did kirtan nicely, ecstatic kirtan, dancing, jumping and all of that. Then after the kirtan was over, they asked, what do we do with this? Prabhupada said, show it to everybody. And they went, they did like this. Then Prabhupada said, people who are seeing it, you're supposed to put your hand like this and put it on your head. So every small, minute detail, sometimes we take it for granted, right? How we think people already know everything here and it's so difficult to preach. Every small detail they're looking at Swamiji. They're asking him what to do, how to do. And whatever he says, they're doing it. And he says, this will give me pleasure, they will do it. He says, this will give pleasure to Jagannath, they will do it. They will not even ask why, what, nothing. They give their whole life to Swamiji. They leave their job, their family, their profession, they're serving Prabhupada like that. Then they all took Aarti, and Prabhupada said, installation is complete, Jagannath is here. You are supposed to serve him very nicely. That time they didn't even have dhotis and all. They used to tie bed sheets as dhoti. Nothing they had, very harsh conditions. Then Prabhupada became very happy, and Prabhupada actually very strongly wanted a deity to come, because Prabhupada thought, how will these sinful people get purified? They can chant Mahamantra and get purified, but they are not absorbed in chanting. Their senses are not absorbed in chanting. Chanting is very inattentive, right? At least at that stage. But if there's a deity, you have to be very clean. Your senses are engrossed in deity worship. So that's a very nice way of chanting. And then he looked at Jagannath and he said, out of all the deities that could have come, Patit Pavan Jagannath has come, the uplifter of fallen people. You have come here. And Prabhupada goes to Jagannath, stands in front, folds his hands and offers a prayer to Jagannath, saying, any mistake, any offenses that happens from my children in your worship, please forgive them. Don't take any offenses. Please accept their service very nicely. When Prabhupada became very happy, he went back to his room and he started translating books and all of that. Next day, what happened was, the devotees were so ecstatic, so happy. There was a park there called Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Devotees have taken Jagannath deity with them to that park, and they kept that deity down, and they started doing kirtan nicely, and all the hippies are dancing and the deity is there. And then they brought back the deity, they put it in the altar. And then Prabhupada came down and he asked, what is this? Where is the deity? They said, we took the deity to the park, we did kirtan and we came back. Prabhupada scolded them. This is not how it's supposed to be. If you want to have darshan, the devotee should come to the temple. Like deity should not go out like this. This is very wrong. And even if they go out, there is only one condition on which these deities can go out. What is that condition? Rath yatra. There should be a Rath yatra. Only then these deities can go out. Otherwise, they should not go out. Right? So, huh? You say that. You say. Okay. Anyway. Huh? Yeah. No, they didn't know how to deal with the deity basically. That it was not different from Krishna. They were actually, hitting the deities as well. They were doing all sort of things. They didn't know how to deal with it. But anyway, Prabhupada scolded them. This is not how you are supposed to deal with it. Finally, the deities were there and all the devotees were coming, and there was a nice mood there. The Prabhupada had instructed them, whenever you come here, bring something for Jagannath. Don't come empty-handed. And offer some Lakshmi. Whenever Aarti plate comes, you should put some Lakshmi on the plate. So he was telling them culture one by one. Devotees were coming for garland seva. So slowly the community was starting to build. Prabhupada thought it was high time a Mridanga should come here. And now if you want Mridanga, we'll just book online or we'll go to the nearest temple and get. That time Prabhupada ordered Mridanga from San Francisco. He ordered Mridanga from Kolkata. And it took a long time, many months to come. The day when Mridanga came, Prabhupada was in the talk, his servant said, Mridanga parcel has come. Prabhupada became extremely happy. He told the servant, go down and bring it immediately. The servant came down, he was removing the package, and he turned behind. Prabhupada had already come there. He only ran, he couldn't wait, he was so eager. Right? This was the first Mridanga in the West. Until now Mridanga had never come there. So he came, and the Mridanga, they were keeping it down. Prabhupada said, no, this is not how you are supposed to treat. He took his chadar, he tore the chadar and covered the Mridanga with it. Then he kept it on the top and he said, this is not any other instrument that you just play like that. This is Baladev, he is non-different from Balaram, he is Guru Tattva, he explains all of that. Then he told them how to play Mridanga as well, he taught them some basic beats. Then the first Mridanga came. Then they started using that in Kirtan. Then he started going back from San Francisco to New York. Again devotees attached. They were thinking, what do we do? So they were crying. They came to the airport. Prabhupada started walking back. They thought, this Swamiji, he won't turn back, he will go. Prabhupada stopped, he turned back. He looked at all of them crying and he said, if you want me to come back, organize a Rath yatra. If you organize a Rath yatra, I will come. He said, and he went. And from that day, every minute the devotees are thinking, how do we make a Rath yatra? How do we organize a Rath yatra? When Prabhupada came to New York, he was there for a while. Finally on 8th July, I think, Prabhupada, again lot of events happen in between this time. Finally, Prabhupada comes back to San Francisco one day before the Rath yatra, and he sees all the arrangement that's made. He supervises everything and he tells the devotees how to conduct, what to do and all of that. Even one day before Rath yatra, there's a lot of obstacles. Firstly, they didn't get the permission. Then this is the first Rath yatra. The whole reputation of the movement is at stake. one evening before the Rath Yatra, next day morning Rath Yatra, one evening before, the Ratha collapsed. Right? Even the Ratha idea Prabhupada got, he looked at a flat truck. The backside of the truck was flat, inside was an engine. So Prabhupada thought, let's make a Rath out of it. Right? We can't build a Rath altogether, let's make it out of this. Even today, any Rath Yatra you see in ISKCON, there will be an engine in the front, there will be some flat layer behind, and devotees will be pulling, but there will be an engine, a driver who will be doing that. The pioneer of this was Prabhupada. When he was 6 years old, he carried a Rath Yatra, conducted a Rath Yatra in Kolkata as a 6-year-old boy. And he got everybody together. Now again, 70 years old, he is making a Rath Yatra happen again. So that Ratha collapsed one day before, and Jayananda Prabhu was there. He is called the Rath Yatra man. Tomorrow again, when you come to Rath Yatra, you can see in the top on the Ratha, bottom right side or left side, in the front, you will see photo of a devotee. That devotee is Jagannath Prabhu. Prabhupada stated that whenever a ISKCON Rath Yatra will happen, Jagannath Prabhu's photo should be there because of the contributions he had made. Again, we can talk about his life altogether. Many glorious devotees like that. But Jagannath Prabhu, overnight, he built the entire Rath all over again. Right? So much love he had for Prabhupada. Somehow they wanted to make Prabhupada smile. Please him, that's all. He made the whole Rath again. He got all the workers, cooked for them. Whole night they didn't sleep. And among them, there was one very hefty, very tall person, Gordon John, right? He had come. So Jagannath Prabhu, new person, right? He has come. Jagannath Prabhu called him and he said, "Can you please help me in hitting the hammer like this?" That person, he held the nail like this. Jagannath Prabhu hit it. And then Jagannath Prabhu was so happy. He was like, "You have done so nice seva." Then he called everybody and said, "This person, he did such a nice seva. He held the nail so perfectly, I was able to easily put it." This person thought, "Oh my God, what is it? He's glorifying me so much. I didn't even do anything." But then that person got attached so much that Gordon John, Prabhupada actually called him as Gordon Jan. That Gordon John became Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. And he got into the movement. And even today Guru Maharaj is there. He's in Bangalore right now. Right? So he's still continuing that fight against Maya for Srila Prabhupada. So how devotees were so attached to Srila Prabhupada, right? They were doing so much for him. So anyway, that whole Ratha came back up again. And they were scared. If something happens to the Ratha, the whole reputation will go. Prabhupada said, "You have Jagannath's blessings, go ahead." And in that Rath Yatra, Prabhupada wasn't there. He fell sick. He was in his chamber. And the Rath Yatra happened. All the devotees, they brought out the deities, grand procession, ecstatic kirtan, prashadam distribution was happening, kirtan was happening, right? It is said in a Rath Yatra, there are 3 ways we can get purified. One is by the air that touches the Rath. That air touches our body, our sins are gone. Second, the dust that comes from the Rath and the devotees who are pulling the Rath, if that dust touches our body or touches our head, our sins are purified. And third, if the glance of the Lord falls on us, Lord when He's sitting on the Rath, that glance falls on us, all our sins are purified. Every second that we hold that rope while pulling the Rath, thousands and thousands of lifetimes of karmas are being burnt. So unlimited glories of Rath Yatra like this is mentioned in the Shastras, right? So they were doing that procession, everybody were getting involved. Police came. They said, "You can't pull the Rath, move it fast, traffic is getting blocked." But devotees were worried. Prabhupada said, "Take slowly, everybody should get darshan." They were thinking what to do. But so many people came in the front and behind the Rath that even if they want, the Rath couldn't go fast. It was going slowly. Then in San Francisco, the Bay Area, the landscape it's very steep, top, down like that. When the Rath was going up like this, the engine stopped. And the Rath started coming back. And thousands of people are there behind, not even devotees. Public is behind. Imagine if the Rath goes back like this, all of them get killed. ISKCON would have ended, not just ended. Horrible things would have happened. Suddenly Mukunda Prabhu tried to start, it started. Multiple times when they were going, it stopped, came back a little, then started again, went. Somehow they crossed, they went to the ocean, they completed the Rath Yatra, they came back in the evening. And they came back and Prabhupada was there, waiting to welcome them. Prabhupada was at the door. They all came back, they offered obeisances, they were ecstatic. They were telling Prabhupada, "This was a wonderful Rath Yatra, very nicely it happened, all the public were very happy. We distributed prashadam, we did kirtan." And Prabhupada was so happy, he went, each and every devotee was there, Prabhupada embraced them. He went, he embraced them nicely, he hugged them, he thanked them for conducting Rath Yatra, because Rath Yatra was very touchy to Prabhupada. It was very, very close to his heart. So he was very happy with all of them. And seeing Prabhupada's happiness, they were even more happy, right? And then this whole event happened very nicely. That was the first Rath Yatra of ISKCON. That's how Rath Yatra happened. And for everywhere, Muslim countries, all countries, Rath Yatra happens even today. And ISKCON Rath Yatras are very famous. They're very grand scale, right? It's happening till date. But whenever we do pull the Rath or participate in Rath Yatra, we can meditate about that first Rath Yatra and what hardships devotees went through and what mood they conducted that whole festival just to serve their Guru. Now we'll come back to our initial point of what should be our mood. Thank you. In Krishna consciousness. There is a very nice shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 7th chapter, 44th shloka, 8.7.44. This is the episode of Lord Shiva drinking the poison, halahal poison, to save the whole earth, whole material world. Okay? So please repeat after me. Tapyante lokatapena sadavo prayashojana param aradanam takti purushasya kilatmana. So what this means is tapyante lokatapena. Tapa means austerity, tapasya. But Prabhupada translates tapa as, here tapyante as voluntary austerity, voluntarily taking austerity. Right? Who is taking austerity? Sadhavo prayashojana, sadhus, devotees of the Lord. When devotees of the Lord voluntarily accept austerities for the sake of lokatapena, for the sake of other conditioned souls who are suffering in this material world, for their benefit, when a devotee, when a sadhu accepts voluntary austerities and voluntary anxiety, voluntary difficulties, Bhagavatam says, Param Aradhanam Taddi. Aradhana means worship. Param Aradhana means that is the highest form of worship one can offer to Purushasya Akilatmanam, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The highest worship that we can offer is to take anxiety for the benefit of other conditioned souls on behalf of Krishna. Then Krishna is completely moved. This is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita as well. The end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if the message that I have given to you, Arjuna, if somebody becomes an instrument in giving this message to others, he is the dearest to me. Nobody is more dear to me in the past, present or future. Right? So whenever we do any austerity, any seva, there will be ups and downs, there will be issues, there will be conflicts, there will be humiliation. So many things will happen, monetary loss, many things can happen. But if we accept all of this in the mood of benefiting other souls on behalf of Krishna, for Krishna's sake, then we can practically buy Krishna, we can conquer Krishna, no matter what state we are in, how abominable we are, how impure we are, how fallen we are. If we can just take this small endeavor, Krishna is completely sold. And if Krishna is sold, what about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is completely, and then what about Nityanand Prabhu? Their mood is completely like that, right? So this is a very important lesson for all of us, that when we are pulling Rath Yatra tomorrow, let's do that in the mood of, we might be walking barefoot, it might be on the road, right? But let's do it in the mood that we are becoming a small instrument in helping others get connected to the Lord. Right? And that's how our relationship with the Lord will become better as well. I'll stop here, 6:40. Any questions, any comments, or any takeaway? Janmashtami is coming up, so all of us should remember this.